All right, welcome back to the bedroom. So, the drywall is done, thank the gods. And I put in last night, I put in these boards. I didn't film it because basically it was me cutting a couple of angles and then running down to the basement, back upstairs, down to the basement, back upstairs, multiple times to shave off a half a blade width to make sure that it fits in there. And cutting a little notch out because my floors aren't even. The closet is a 1/4 inch lower than the bedroom. I don't know. Which is interesting because the closet is actually into the attic, and I don't recall there being a gap over there. Anyway, what I'm going to do now is start the process of putting the fascia boards on. I've cut the angles, but not the heights. I have an 8-inch block, just cheap 2x, that I'm going to use for my measurements. And because these front pieces are going to sit on a tapered block. And this is going to be fine, it'll be easy to do. This I'm debating, because of the style I'm doing the doors in the rest of the house, are this mission style, which has a board sticking out this way, a flat piece, and then a board sticking out this way. But I've got this funky corner, and I don't know if, because it would go up into the ceiling here. Do I want that? Do I not? I'm asking some friends what their opinion is. And then over here, I'm not sure if I do that. Do I want this board to go out so that it's flat this way, or do I want it to go straight up and down and have an angle cut on it? I don't know. A couple of things that happened in this install, because as you saw before, nothing behind here is correct. I've got a gap up here because this board doesn't sit in there properly, because what's behind it doesn't sit in there properly, and there's no way to change that without tearing the whole thing out and building it from scratch. So this is going to get a screw in it, and I'm going to be very blatant about the screw. It's going to be a brass screw with a fancy washer. I'll put one in here and then down at the bottom. I'll put one over here and down at the bottom so it matches, and it looks entirely intentional. Okay? If this were cheap pine, I would pop in a couple of drywall screws wherever they needed to be, and then spackle over them and paint the whole thing. Not going to do that. This. Easy, easy, not easy. Because now I have a nice straight line here. Okay. This isn't straight. This curves. It's 2 1/4 inches up here. It's 2 inches in the middle. It's 2 1/4 inches at the bottom. So I have to take a 1/4 inch out that matches the wall. I'm not going to do that tonight. I will do that tomorrow afternoon or over the weekend. And I'll show you how I'm going to do that. It's not that difficult, just annoying. Okay? So I will go do some measurements and cut some wood and get the first part started and come back to you as I have the pieces to actually work with. Okay, so there's this. I pulled this board off because there's a 3/4 inch gap where the bottom of this sits back. There's no way I can twist this oak to fit that. So what I've done, I'm going to step back a bit. I said before that my baseboard is not nailed on yet. Okay, so this is not nailed on. So I'm going from here to there to get what is in plane with the wall. I am going to have to notch out a piece on the bottom of this so it sits over this bizarre lip, and then I'm just going to put this piece of wood in this position. When I put on my fascia piece, it's going to cover up that gap. I'm just going to have a gap back there, and that's what we'll live with because I have no other choice. All right, so we've got this one on. That was just a straight rip and bevel. There's a 25-degree bevel right there. This one, as I said, this piece of wall is not uniform, it's not parallel. So what I've had to do is I've ripped it down to the widest that it needs to be. And then I use an amazing little tool, this. This is just a little piece of wood with a notch cut in it and the other side rounded off. Pencil fits in there. Take that rounded side up against the wall and just draw a line all the way down. That's going to tell me the shape that I need to cut on this side of the board in order to make this all fit in. Okay. Then what I need to do is, since this is the widest piece here, this is 0, and I need about an 1/8 inch down there, so that's going to give me how far that way from the line I need to actually cut. And this looks like a pretty straight line, so it shouldn't be too bad. Although I know it comes out way more in the middle than it does at the bottom. So I'm going to go do some cutting, come back, and we'll see how this fits. All right, so we got this piece on. It is not perfect, but we're going to live with that. Next, we do the pediment. Okay, so this is going to sit like so. There will be, and it sticks out just a bit, there'll be a flat piece in here and another one just like this that's going to come up to about here and go into the ceiling looking like so. Ooh. That's what happens when you guess angles. We got a little gap here. Again, can live with it. I could redo this board, but I'm not gonna. Maybe later. Come up here. That's a 28. And it's gonna be more of this back and forth. Okay. Sorry for the breathing. Bedrooms on the second floor. Workshops in the basement. So, now I've got this angle. This is a cutoff from one of these. So that's going to meet here. Now all I need to do is measure this space here and cut perpendicular to that angle across. So, oops. Oh. Let's let. Okay, third hand. Upside down. Okay. We are 1 3/8. So 1 3/8 that way. And this is going to do I'll lay this on the floor. Okay, I'll go down to the square, cut that off, come back and figure out what this side looks like. More running stairs. All right, look at that. Ain't that sweet? Now, using the straight edge and following the first law of tool transformation, Any tool that works is the right tool. So, actually that's the stagehand's corollary. Always use the right tool for the right job. Stagehand's corollary, any tool that works is the right tool. First rule of tool transformation, the nearest heavy object is a hammer. So, I want this to be in the same plane as this for that angle. So I'm just going to take the back of the saw, which is straight. That's my line. Back to the basement to cut. All right, so that's cut. I'm going to take this, and I'm going to, like I did this side, I'm going to have to freehand on the bandsaw that funky angle, because my saw doesn't go to like 60-some degrees, whatever that is. So I'm going to use a parallel, that's parallel, to my angle. I got plenty of runoff over here. So, once more into the basement, 2 more flights of stairs. All right, let me show you the last piece that we've got to do here. So what I did is, just took some of my scrap, planed it down to 3/8 inch, got a bevel. He's going to sit like that down here. So that one sits in, it'll get nailed in. This one sits under. It nails into the one behind it. We line them up real nice here. And that gives just a little bit of character to that bottom. We'll do the same thing on the other side, except I'm going to have to rip it down to that width. So, a little pre-drilling and nailing, and we're good to go. Let me get this one in. Now, pre-drilling, and we've got, I don't know if you can see that from, let me move the camera. We've got space here, that gap that I talked about before, and not much to go in here. So normally I like to go through the center, but you can't. So I'm going to have to go into the side here and into the side here, which will go into this board over here, which is going to be fun. I'm going to do a little bit odd on my pre-drill. This bit is actually the same size as my brads. So these actually slide in. I don't want to do that into this board because then it won't hold anything. So I'm going to drill two different sides. Angles. Make another bit. And I need one over here. Now I'm going to go one size smaller, so when it's going into this wood, it's got grip. Okay. Afraid of. working very well. That's going to need something. Oh, like, subscribe, click. You know the drill. All right, footers are done. Everything's done. Header is mostly dry. So I'm going to put this up, and I'm going to do something I normally don't do. I'm going to put glue on the back. Only because, as you saw during the sheetrock phase, there's almost nothing up here to tie into. I have a little bit down here and a little bit up there. This is going to be sitting on something, so it's not too bad, but still, I don't trust it. I don't like gluing things onto the wall because if I ever want to take it off, it's going to ruin the plasterboard and I have to do this all over again. But there's just, I don't want this falling on somebody's head. So, got the nails, got my header. All right, let's take a step back and look at it. Not bad, I like it. It is weird, it is crooked, but it is what it is. So, nothing left to do but varnish and then clean this place up. That's all for the bedroom for now.